Joining me now from Swarthmore, Pennsylvania, president of the Crime Prevention Research Center, John Lott. John, all week the mainstream media and the Democrat liberal left has been telling us that illegal immigrants are somehow more righteous, follow the law better than American citizens. This cabal has been telling us that illegal immigrants are more lawful than American citizens. This is insulting, of course, as I mentioned, but it's also a lie, as proven by the numbers that you crunched out of a prison in Arizona.
Right, I've been given access to all prisoners in the Arizona prison system over 27 and a half years up through June 2017. And what you find is that illegal aliens are vastly overrepresented in the prison population. They make up about 4.8% of the general population in Arizona, but they make up over 12% of the general prison population. And that's particularly bad when you look at the most violent crimes. Murder, they're over 250% more represented than their share of the population. They're vastly overrepresented in terms of child molestation cases or an armed robbery. I mean, some things like smuggling, you expect them to be, and of course, they're 16 times more than their share of the population in terms of smuggling, but it's across the board. If I could just take a second, there are other studies that are out there, but there's some real problems with the way that they're done, the ones that get cited. So, for example, there are two types of studies. One is they go and use survey data. They go and ask people, you know, are you here legally or not? And then they go and ask the person whether they have a criminal history here in the United States. And the problem is that even under the Obama administration said that they would single out people with criminal histories who were here illegally for deportation. So there's a extra reason. I mean, criminals in general might not be honest about their past criminal history, but illegal aliens who had criminal histories in the United States and already been deported have even an extra reason to do that.
This makes your study even more important, I think, here, because you're using prison data and not survey data, not arrest data, which could change later, right? Somebody could be arrested and not convicted. You're using prison data. And the bottom line that you've discovered is that illegals are 142% more likely to commit a crime. And when it comes to illegals committing more serious crimes, as you alluded to there, we can drill down a little bit more. 163% more likely to commit murder, 168% more likely to commit second-degree murder, 189% more likely to commit manslaughter. Now, these should be sobering numbers to Americans who are wondering whether they support the president in terms of securing the border permanently or not.
I mean, the example that you gave earlier obviously is heartening, but it's important not just to look at individual examples there, but to see how representative they are, how big the problem is, what are the costs involved there, not only to the victims, but also just in terms of the prison systems for dealing with these issues.
Right, and so there's a higher rate of violent crime as well, as we just touched on, including murder, sexual assault against minors, DUI, this would be felony DUI, and armed robbery. And our director, Adrian, can you go right to the next slide, please? And that's regarding illegal immigrants aged 15 to 35. These would be the so-called DACA recipients. In Arizona, they make up 2% of the population, but they make up 8% of the prison population. When the President of the United States was on the campaign trail, and he said that Mexico, and the vast majority of illegals in this country are from Mexico, and when he said that Mexico is not sending their best, they're not even sending them, of course, they're violating our sovereignty on their own, the Mexican government's not sending them, but we know what he meant. Mexico's not sending their best. Indeed, he's correct.
Right. Look, I mean, there's some decent people who obviously come across the border, but there are obviously also a lot of very problematic individuals. And the question is, do we want to have some type of screening process to be able to go and separate out those who might be problematic from those who may have, you know, we may want to have here in the United States?
The other flip side of your research, and I think this is important too, that is the folks who do come, as you mentioned, lawfully through our system, don't commit these crimes. And that's an important note to make too.
Right. I mean, often what some other studies do is they lump the two groups together, the legal aliens and the illegal aliens. And as you say correctly, the legal aliens, people who come here through the rules, tend to be very law-abiding. It's the other people who come here illegally who are not. And by mixing those two things together, you obscure the real high crime rates that you see for the illegal aliens.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.